Welcome back to Inside the Heat. After losing to the Knicks in the 1998 playoffs, Pat Riley went right back to work to ready his team for the following season. However, the 1998-99 season almost never happened. With no collective bargaining agreement in place between the league's owners and players, a lockout was enforced and the season was in jeopardy.
Have a breaking story into the NBC6 newsroom.
The lockout has put NBA hoops on hold.
We was ready to start a long journey again, trying to fulfill our championship dream, and it was cut short.
It's about what is a fair share between owners and players.
It's almost like everybody's waiting for the bat phone to ring. There's no call a day, you know. Where am I going to be tomorrow? Where am I going to be next week?
November came and went without pro basketball. Finally, in late December, an agreement was reached between the owners and the players' union. There would be a season, shortened and condensed to 50 games over 3 months, beginning in February.
That makes us feel good that we've come to a positive conclusion, and now we can get back to work.
Finally, they said, okay, there's going to be this 50-game schedule.
Every single game was important. There was a mad dash to 30 wins.
That was the first time I've ever experienced back-to-back-to-back games.
Coach believed that, defense wins championships, and that's where it all started.
Because we were together for a while and been through some battles together, we knew what the system was.
To be a good defensive player, you got to play with a lot of heart and attitude and hustle.
They were the defensive team of that era, and it was anchored by the best defensive center in the NBA.
Mourning blocked the shot.
Mourning would lead the league in blocked shots with almost 4 a game and was named the 1999 Defensive Player of the Year. He was also a first-team All-NBA selection and finished second in the league's MVP balloting.
Defense isn't something that you teach. It's pretty much all effort, will, determination, and heart.
They went 33-17, and they won another Atlantic Division championship, and off we go to the playoffs, and guess who's waiting for us again in the first round? The Knicks.
In their third straight playoff confrontation, the Heat and Knicks were back at it in a best-of-5 first-round series. During the first 4 games, the teams would trade victories. New York winning games 1 and 3, Miami games 2 and 4.
The Heat get it done and win game 4.
Setting up a deciding game 5.
It was one of those games where the crowd was involved. It was a physical game. It was beat-em-up basketball.
They knew us. We knew them. There were no secrets. It was going to always come down to, once again, that last possession.
Game 5 was the final playoff game held in Miami Arena, and it did come down to the very last painful second.
The game was nip and tuck all the way, but I felt that we had control in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and we were ahead in the ball game. I definitely wanted the ball in Tim's hands, but on a possession we couldn't get the ball into Tim, and Terry Porter handled the basketball as a point guard. We went to Tim on a catch and shoot, and the ball flipped up in the air, and we never got a shot off. And then the play was free roll, and Porter was right in front of me.
Terry Porter having Latrell's free rolls trapped on the baseline, and Latrell has nowhere to go. They don't have any timeouts. They can't call timeout. Terry Porter hasn't locked in, and the worst thing that could happen to us is the ball goes out of bounds.
If we get possession of the ball, we're going to win the game.
And to this day, depending on who you are, you'll tell whether off Terry Porter's leg or Latrell Sprewell's leg.
Did Terry Porter touch the ball when it went out of bounds? Did a fingernail change the course of history?
They gave him an opportunity to set up for a play.
It was a play that we used to run in New York called triangle, and we did not defend it correctly. To this day, I should have put Keith Askins in the game defensively, not to play Allen Houston, but to play the ball. Marley did his job on a lock and trail on Allen Houston. Ball came in from Charlie Ward. Keith, I know, would have reacted in a way that would have closed that gap down. Once he got through the gap, the floater was just too easy for him.
It's like puts up this little floater.
It just seemed to bounce, and it just bounced. It was almost like time stood still, and the arena just got so quiet, and, which way is the ball going to go? And everybody was just, not again.
It drops in, and you're just sick to your stomach, and then you look at the players, and then everyone is just like, oh, how could this be?
The Allen Houston shot just went in, that just took all the air out of us. That type of moment where you just went, oh, it's almost, you can't explain it, but you left totally helpless and empty.
It was absolute shot to the gut, knock you to your knees. Everyone just shell-shocked walking out of the building.
I remember Latrell Sprewell walking around pounding on his chest right in front of our bench. I could have decked him myself.
That shot changed the direction of this franchise drastically. We were a better team than the Knicks that year. But that shot fell in, and they moved on, and we went home.
About as excruciating a loss, even worse than the year before, because I felt in that lockout shortened year that we could have taken it all the way to the finals.
All those scars, what made us really thirst and want to win here, because we had been so close.
It was just the worst moment. It was this sudden victory for New York and this sudden heartache for Miami.
We had a team, we had a hope, we had championship aspirations. This rivalry had gotten out of hand, and boom, did we deserve that bounce? It went in, and we ended up going down in defeat.
Any one particular moment that you can point to and say, God, I remember having my heart ripped out of my chest. That was that moment.
Inside the Heat is brought to you by your South Florida Mercedes-Benz dealers. Love what you drive.